had not heard of them until I bought the storage units. It seemed like I've heard of them, but I would think like Omega. I'm not sure. But I heard the guy's name. I'm sitting there, I just showered. Well, because last time I kept slapping you in the face, so this time I thought I would.
Oh, and I scooted you down, but you wanted to go clear to the end, huh?
This will be my seat until I'm not here anymore.
Okay.
That's why I asked the other day if I had to have a permanent seat.
Yeah, no. Are you comfortable with that chair there? No, the center, the empty one. You want me to move it back? Or? I don't know if that would bother you.
The meeting for March 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. will be starting now. May I get roll call?
Mayor Candace Machado.
Here.
Councilmember Daisha Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Greg Lustig.
Present.
Councilmember Phil Gerke.
Here.
Town Attorney Scott Murray.
Here.
Town Engineer Shane Porter.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson. Chief of Police Mike Thompson.
Here.
Fire Chief Leo Malsum.
Here.
Public Works Director Robert Llewellyn.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underwood, and rested citizens. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Approval of agenda. Consent agenda.
Actually, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
We need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Janelle,
Mhm.
helping me out. Okay, number 1, consent agenda. Approval of minutes for regular meeting February 26, 2024, and work session March 4th, 2024, and the approval of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 2, appointment of Natrona County Travel and Tourism Representative.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is approval to reappoint Tasma Powers to the Natrona County Travel and Tourism Council. She is a representative for the town of Evansville. And Tyler Doherty is here with the Casper Area Travel Tourism Committee. If you have any questions for him, as well as Tasma Powers is present. And we would just ask for a reappointment. That's a 2-year term. 3-year term. Yeah, 3-year term. And so we're just looking for approval to reappoint her to the board again, if you so wish. Any questions for them? So I would just need a motion appointing Tasma Powers to the Natrona County Travel and Tourism Council for a 3-year term.
I'll motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I
All
do
right.
think we should drill her though.
I was ready.
I bet you were.
All right. 3, council interview reschedule for April 8th, 2024.
Madam Mayor and Council, we did not realize at the last meeting that the spring break is the week of March 25th, which was at the same time that we were scheduling for the interviews for the vacant council seat. And so we are just asking to move that to the April 8th council meeting.
Any questions, thoughts?
I want to be present, that's all I need to say.
Is there a better time?
I could,
We would have to push it into May,
right?
because Mayor Machado will be absent at the next meeting in April.
I kind of think we should have everybody here when we do that, don't you?
Right, right. I'll be, you know,
Will you be,
1,200 miles from here.
will you be here?
What's the next, what would be the next date be?
May 13th, I believe is the next meeting. I can't see the calendar. I believe it's,
Oh, here, I can look.
Okay.
Well, it's, yeah, May 13th.
13th will work for me.
You can push it into May.
yeah, I'll need a motion on it.
Can I motion that we move the, line item number 3, the council interviews, to May 13th council meeting?
I would second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, May 13th. I just have a quick question. Are we still going to keep the same cutoff for when applications are coming in, or are we going to push that back as well?
Could we push it back to like May 1? Will that give you guys enough time? or
I'd
is that
like
too
to
close?
move, we push deadline for applications to May 1st.
Do I have a second?
Oh,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So application deadline, May 1, with interview scheduled for May 13th.
Number 4, fire department remodel proposal. Gentlemen? Hello.
Madam Mayor and Council, we are here tonight with a proposal for a remodel to the fire station to increase the safety and the functionality of the station as we have it right now. I know I printed this out and sent it to you guys. You should have gotten it in your packet. I just wanted to run through it really quick and highlight a few things. The building was put up in the 80s along with this building, so a lot of the things that are in both buildings have been here since the 80s. In building the upstairs, it wasn't really designed for a living quarters. It was just kind of it was designed for volunteers to stay the night every now and then and have a training room. Well, now that we've been living there, it's in functionality has changed, and some of that safety has changed along with that. So we came to the budget meeting last year and asked for $7,500 to do some remodeling. What that was looking at was doing some floors and changing some wall patterns in there and cleaning up some of the kitchen stuff. Since then, we've been looking at if we're going to do the floor and tear the kitchen apart, the cabinets are in disarray and needing repaired as well. So we're looking to replace those as well. And those two items came to just over the $7,500 that we asked for in last budget. So in looking through other things that need to be accomplished while we're doing this, if you look at the walls, there's a lot of holes and bits. Some of the walls haven't been finished all the way. Texture is not correct. It's sporadic throughout the whole upstairs. And we could use a color for a number of years as well. So going through this, we're looking, if we're going to start the project, we need to demo the kitchen as it is. We're going to get rid of the cabinets and doing that, repair the walls and the process. So we can put the cabinets up, have the walls behind it. And we figured if we're going to do the walls in the kitchen, then we have to clean up all the walls in the upstairs. So then we're going to do the floor after that. And with that, there were a couple of things that we had safety concerns with. Captain and engineer bedroom, but then a hallway that's eliminated out. Past the furnace room, which is area up there. So we'd like to put a fire resistant door on that. And create another opening for the hallway to allow access to those users. The other thing that we're looking at there is the way these buildings are designed, they're pre-stressed concrete buildings. There's a cable in them every 18 inches. And if you cut the cable, the building falls down. So you can't put a window in over there unless you're going to do the windows in the shed. So it's very dark up there. Any time of the day, you turn the lights out. There's no sunlight up there. So we're looking to put a window in the fire escape door and also put some skylights in to allow for natural light to get the sunlight. So I think that ran through everything. And the nice thing about the crews that we have over there are most of us have come from a construction background professionally, so we have painters, we have drywall, cabinet people, plumbing people. So we can do all of this work in the house, which is save a lot of cost. All of this is materials. So when I did list all the prices and all of that, it came to a little bit higher than what I expected it to start with. We were looking at maybe going from 75 up to about 13. After we got everything put together, it actually came to that 16,631. Did put a percentage on top of that, just for fluctuations of costs and things. So that would bring us up to 17.5. What I was asking for is the 7,500 that we requested out of our original budget, with the knowledge that in the new budget we would ask for the remaining 10. So that would be our proposal. The other thing I wanted to point your guys' attention to is that third page. We're looking into the master plan. We would like to not just be throwing money at building without having a plan on what we want to do with it in the future. So looking to use the money the best that we can so we don't have to do jobs twice or 3 times and just waste money. So, any questions?
I got a few. You knew I would, didn't you, Lou? First of all, I'm assuming you're taking out that island that's there, that when you're in the, I call it a rec room, but whatever that is, the living room. Okay. And then, so you're taking that out, which is awesome. That'll open that whole thing up. And then on the bid from Wyoming Building Supply, if you go with a better level of cupboard, it was adding 22%, correct? Did I read that right? Or was that the way that the order, is that what you did?
No, so they drew them up to where they would build the cabinets out of the normal particle board with the laminate over the top of them for the extra 22%, which was, I believe that was around $750. They would do a plywood box, which is going to be a more durable box than the particle board.
In my opinion, that's what we need to do.
Yes.
Part of it is because you've got a lot of people in and out of there. It's not like a normal kitchen. And those other ones, I don't think we need to, in my opinion, we don't need to get back to there again. Now, the other thing that I guess I didn't see in there is, what about supplies like, taping supplies and paint and all of this stuff? Is that in there somewhere?
Yes, so that
That I
would be
did- that I
that would be
missed?
underneath the that was the $4,000 cost for wall repair.
Is that the part with the door on there?
Yeah, so
Okay,
I believe
okay. I figured it
so
was.
be underneath the egress sheetrock and light.
Is it number 2
Yes,
on the first
basically.
Okay. And anyway, I just think that that's the way. And then the other thought that I guess, and I know I've talked with the mayor and stuff a little bit about this, and I think I've talked to Chief about this. I think we should just do everything at one time. It's not going to get cheaper. and it needs to be done. I mean, it looks like you got mice up there. The cupboards are like, the bottoms of the doors are gone, and I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, so maybe you ought to feed the firemen more or something. I don't know, but maybe that's how they make their soup. I don't know. But, and then the other question I had, there was a couple more that I had, was that you got that big couch that goes all the way around the living room. Okay. And I think there was some mention about replacing that. Are we still there? Yes. I mean, I understand. I understand. But again, I don't think anything's going to go down in price anytime soon. So I guess is what I would like to see is what a completed project would cost. Furniture added, the kitchen table, either needs some serious painting or staining or something, or it needs to be gone. I don't know how the chairs are. I didn't sit in one. I was a little bit afraid because they would look kind of old. But and if I fall, I'm not getting up. So
We have firemen.
right now, and then the last question I guess I've got is on the appliances. You talked about that the appliances were put in there in, was it 2012 or 13?
13, I believe.
12 or 13. Okay. So what kind of issues are we having with them? Are you having issues, or are you?
I know the stove, we have one burner for sure that's not working.
Mhm.
I think there's another one that's not working properly, it will work but not properly. One of the reasons we want to go to a gas range is with the electric one, you can turn it on, turn it off, do that quite often, you have to turn it off and turn it on. They stay hot for a while.
Right.
So the gas is just shut it off.
I did the same thing in my house. I went from electric to gas. I agree with you completely.
The refrigerator, there's not really anything, it's missing the handles. The handles on the refrigerator and the freezer part are missing. The dishwasher we actually put in 2 or 3 years ago, but it was one of those that was we want a dishwasher, so we went out to the Home Depot and got the Home Depot special. And it works if you wash the dishes before you put it in.
Yeah.
So, one of the things we're looking, and we want to look between the commercial grade versus residential, just because commercial is going to last a little bit longer, it's a little bit more expensive. I have done everything research on dishwashers for the last couple of weeks. But, so the appliances, that's why we wanted to say in the next 3 years, we'd like to look at replacing those.
Yep.
So
They aren't going to last that long. Your dishwasher is and stove to me or need to be replaced. Part of this is what I've experienced and what I've had repair people tell me is that the appliances now you're going to get 4 to 5 years out of them, and then I moved here in 6 years ago, and I'm on my second dishwasher. We're on our third microwave, and it's the one the other night had sparks flying out of it. So I mean but the appliances, because of the way that they're built. The other concern that I have is with the gas stove, there's a possibility that by 2026 you can't buy a gas stove. So if we're going to do that, we need to have it done. And I think for the reasons that you talked about, I think it's a necessary thing because you got instant on and instant off. I mean, and plus they're much more efficient. And for the fine cooks that you guys are, you should have a gas stove. So, yeah, okay. You're not just warming up ramen noodles or something, right? Okay.
So those are prices that we're gonna have to come up with is.
Good.
The sofa, the recliners, and we want to replace the sofa there. And then I did do pricing on the refrigerator and the stove and those things.
Mm-hmm.
I put in there 6 to 8 because that's, I estimated for that's just rough estimates.
Sure, sure. How far do you have to run the gas line?
Probably, yeah, maybe 30, maybe 40 feet.
Okay.
It's already in the ceiling, going to the water heater that's in the bathrooms. So we just need to.
I just-
there.
I ran mine like a year ago, and it was like a couple $100 for 20 feet. So,
We'd have to have that one, that's one of the things we'd have to have. adjusted.
yeah, because I don't mess with that either. I would have to call on you guys, and that probably wouldn't look good. But anyway, I guess my feelings are, is that I don't know if we have to take care of those items right away, but the repair parts need to be done right away.
I think if you guys can make whatever decision you want on the base proposal, but if you push it toward the couch, fines of this stuff, we'll have to go back and do some research.
Okay, that stuff we could put in next year's
I
budget.
can apply it to next year's budget.
That's my thoughts. Does that make sense?
Any other thoughts? Questions? Comments?
I would like to make a motion to entertain their $10,000 budget increase from 2024, 2025 budget year.
And I'd like to second.
All those in favor for the full budget?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And no, chief, you can't have a kitchen.
Number 5, ordinance number 2-2024, an ordinance approving the New Miller Edition, Town of Evansville, third and final reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 2-2024. This is an ordinance approving the Miller addition to the town of Evansville. This is taking the property that was platted as urban ag and breaking it up into the New Miller addition into the 2 separate parcels. The one that they're working on right now is for the crypto mining currency that's in place, and that's right off of Blackmore Road. Brought before you tonight for third and final reading.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
I'd like to motion that we approve ordinance number 2-2024. The Miller edition.
In a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Ordinance number 3-2024, an ordinance approving the rezone of Lot 2 of the New Miller addition from urban agriculture to light industrial in Evansville, third and final reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 3-2024, an ordinance approving the rezone of Lot 2 of the New Miller addition from urban agriculture to light industrial, town of Evansville, Wyoming. It's brought before you tonight on third reading, and this is again for the same property that we just approved the New Miller addition to for the cryptocurrency mining off Blackmore Road. Brought before you tonight on third and final reading.
Questions, comments, concerns?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 3-2024, the third and final reading.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Resolution number 4-2024, a resolution setting liquor license establishments hours for March 17th, 2024.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is a resolution extending the hours of operation for the liquor licensees on March 17th, 2024 to March 18th, 2024. This is for St. Patrick's Day, which lands on Sunday this year. The operating hours for bars is to be closed at 12 midnight on March 17th. And because it is a holiday, we can pass a resolution that allows them to remain open until 2:00 a.m. And so the establishments have asked that they be allowed to remain open until 2:00 8 a.m. on March 18th, 2024.
Questions, comments, concerns?
I'd like to motion to approve resolution 4-2022 for
I
the
second.
liquor license establishments.
Second.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Resolution number 5-2024, declare intent to create local assessment district, Hat 6 Industrial Park.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is Resolution 5-2024. This is a resolution declaring the intent of the town of Evansville, Wyoming to create a local assessment district number 2024-01 in said town to authorize the construction of local improvements therein and to assess the cost or portion thereof on the property benefited thereby. And this resolution is presented to you for approval tonight. This is for the HAT 6 Improvement Service District, and I'll turn it over to Engineer Shane Porter.
Oh, yeah, so you guys do have a copy of the resolution, I believe, and I've had a chance to look through it. I just want to touch on a couple of things in the resolution. So Section 6, we're talking about the method of assessment. So just a reminder that we're looking at the town would go out and get a loan to do the work and assess each of the property owners their proportionate share. We've got it set up in 10 annual payments. We don't know what the SLIB interest rate will be yet, so we've taken it, just saying it will be the SLIB interest rate plus 2% with no more than a max of 10%. We're pretty sure that will cover what the SLIB interest rate will be. Right now, the SLIB interest rate is about 6. So we're pretty confident that the 10 will cover as a max. The estimated costs, I went back through our cost estimate in detail, and we did increase the cost a little bit from when we last talked. We're showing a total cost now of $1,307,785. So there is a new breakdown on a per lot basis in the resolution. And then just Section 9 kind of talks about the next steps. So this is a resolution that just says that the town's intent to move forward with the LAD. After tonight, if this resolution passes, then we will advertise in the Star Tribune on April 24th, and we will send out notices to all of the individual property owners at that same time, maybe a day or so before that, just so they hit at the same time as the paper. And then they'll have 15 days to come in and file their objection. So the objections would be due by May 9th, and then we will hold a public hearing and discuss the ordinance to move forward with the LAD on May 13th. So that's kind of the schedule and kind of the highlights of the resolution. Open to any questions you guys might have.
No questions?
So which comes first? So what do we have to apply for that loan before we actually?
It's going to go about the same time.
Okay.
If this passes tonight, then I'll start reaching out to the state and getting a handle on timing. But we do have an out in here. If for some reason, it's under Section 6, I believe. If I'm missing it, Trevor. Okay, so in the event that the SLIB loan to the town is not granted or the improvements project is abandoned for any reason by the town, any amounts prepaid will be returned. So a lot of these amounts may be paid in full at the beginning of the project, but it's basically set up, if we don't get the SLIB loan, we're not going to move forward. So,
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have none.
I don't mind answer the other night.
It was brief to us at the work session. So.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to motion to, for the resolution 5-2024.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Engineers report.
Oh, yeah, so I have a few more things tonight. My engineer's report is in your packet as well. The first thing on the discussion is the Mesa Solutions project. So the town has been approached by Mesa Solutions, True Land and Realty, and the Doris McMurray Group to consider applying for a Wyoming Business Council Business Ready Community Grant to provide funding to offset improvements costs to Mystery Bridge Road and Wildcat Road, and also potentially a West Road in the overall development. And so we kind of wanted to. I'd sent you guys a memo of early last week that kind of summarizes that process. What we're looking tonight is just to kind of gauge the council's interest on moving forward with the grant application. And so just kind of to summarize, right now they're estimating the total project cost, and it's early. There's still a lot of things that have to be done before we know the costs and can apply for the grant. But talking about a total project cost of around $10 million, that could be 10 to 12 million. But we're using a number of 10 million right now. The grant will require a 10% match. And so that's $1 million match. So the match requirement, so of that $1 million match, 50% of that has to be cash. So we're talking 500,000 cash match. The applicant, which would be the town, is required to pay 5% of that cash match. So 5% of the 500,000. So the town's out of pocket or their actual match expense would be $50,000 on a $10 million number. If it does end up in the $12 million number, breaking those numbers back down, the cash match will be 600,000. So the town's 5% would be 60,000. So we're talking of a number of 50 to 60,000 potentially to get 10 to 12 million in improvements out in the area. And so, this particular grant, I mean, this is exactly what this grant is set up for, is to help big businesses come into town and help with that large infrastructure cost. So like I said, there's still a lot of unknowns on how this project might go, what roads might need to be done, traffic studies that they need to look at. But the grant application, one of the reasons we want to get a direction tonight. The grant application is due June 1st. So it seemed like it's out there a little ways, but it's not out there too far. So a lot of work to be done between now and then. A lot of the work that would be done, some of the work, the water line improvements is something that the town has had on their master plan for a long time to provide a looping of the water line out there. That would all be done with this project if it were to move forward. So the town's getting a major infrastructure boost for a smaller amount of actual cost. So open to any questions you guys might have, but I would like direction tonight whether the town's interested in just moving forward with the
I
application.
had one math question. I got lost someplace. So there's a match of $1 million if it's right. And then there's 500,000 that we would be responsible for.
So out of the match, there's $1 million match. Out of the match, half of it has to be cash. So the other half can be in kind. It can be the land that's donated for the right of ways. All gets factored into that. So there's a lot of things that would come to get that other number. And of the cash, of the $500,000 cash, the applicant, as the town, has to come up with 5% of that. So 50,000.
25,000, right?
It's the number is 5% of the total match.
Okay.
So
Total
it's
match. Okay.
10%
Okay.
of the
So
cash.
it's really 10% of the cash. Okay. Now
And so the rest of that cash would come from those other groups
okay.
in order to make up
Okay.
that cash
Okay.
match. And so how that would be structured is still, there's a lot of discussion and a lot of back and forth on how that structure would be, where that cash was, where the in-kind matches were. They're talking about if we do move forward, they may get the engineering, the development group may get the engineering started, or the Mesa group may get the engineering started to design the improvements. That design cost of, what it could be, I don't know, it could be 150,000, let's say. That would be an in-kind match. So there's a lot of things that can come up with to get those total numbers, to get to meet
So-
the requirements of the state.
Then just one more question. So when would we have to come up with that 50,000?
You would have to come up with it. It would just be as the money's being spent.
Okay,
So
so
as
we're probably looking,
yeah, probably the earliest, I would say early.
okay,
The
okay.
grant
that's-
applications due
yeah.
July 1 or June 1, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly when the Wyoming Business Council meets, but I know the SLIB board, the 5 elected officials, is the final vote, and
Right.
that's in November. So by the
Okay.
time you get
Okay.
anything, it's probably early.
So we're looking at 25. Okay. I just was trying to make sure we didn't have to do this in June or something, but that's okay. Thank you. You knew I'd have questions.
I would like to express interest, the town would be interested in partnering in this project to apply for the grant, and if a vote is needed, some.
Second,
I'll second
all those in favor?
Aye.
it. Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, so the next thing I have is a pay request on the Evansville Sidewalks project that's currently ongoing. It's pay request number 2 from Crown Construction. The total pay request is for $159,400. We're holding 10% retainage for a total retainage of $15,940. And so the total amount due for pay request number 2 is $143,460. And so that would then, if after the payment's been made and we have a copy of the canceled check, we can submit that to the grant for reimbursement of 90% of that. So just recommend a motion to pay Crown Construction $143,460 on pay request number 2.
Do I have a motion?
So move we approve the Evansville sidewalk pay request number 2 of the CDA Community Development Grant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So the last thing I have in your packet tonight is a contract between WLC and the town of Evansville. This is for the emergency connection project that the town was awarded an ARPA grant, probably 6 months ago. Takes a while to get all the contracts back and the approvals on that grant, but the grant's been approved. Now it's time to move forward with the design of that project. The emergency connection is the connection to the city of Casper water system. So in the event that we were down, weren't able to get water out of the river, our treatment plant was down, we could pull water from Casper and bring it into the system. The project involves part of the project was done through a Wyoming Business Council grant like 7 or 8 years ago. But the part that remains is a treatment building, a chlorination building. We've got to over-chlorinate their water to mix it with ours before we can put it in the tank. So it's kind of a treatment process. So as part of that design, as kind of a specialized design, we have hired a company called CH Guernsey to help us with that treatment design. CH Guernsey was involved with the town's master plan and has a strong background in that kind of work. So I'm before you tonight, a lot of times we just work on our standard work order, but this type of project and us having a subcontractor or subconsultant and due to the grant funding for this, we want a separate contract just to separate that from everything else we're doing. So open to any questions you have on the proposed contract. It's a contract we've used numerous times. So it's been through the attorney's reviews. It's the same contract we've signed numerous times.
Questions?
I like the motion that we go for the water system.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That's all I had tonight.
I'd like to motion to approve the engineer's report.
Do you have a second?
I guess that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
Council updates. Do we have any council updates?
I do, unless somebody else would like to go first. Couple things. One of them is that little walking path or whatever we put up there by the interstate, where our old Evansville sign was stuck out in the middle of the weeds and nowhere. It's actually in a really good spot now. It's right beside that cart path. So that's actually kind of cool. You didn't have to move anything or knock it down. The second thing that I had was, I don't know, I'm starting to get at a loss what to do with our dog park. I just wish people would pick their poop up. You know, it's not that hard, but we're going to have to, I think the council is going to have to put some thought into how we want to handle that, because it's pretty obvious. It's not as bad as last time, but then it hasn't been, what, a couple months, Robert, a couple months ago when we did that? Yeah, and it's a problem. And especially with all the, you know, we don't know if the dogs are vaccinated or anything else that are there, and you know, we could be spreading diseases. And I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a loss, but I know I'm not going to pick it up. So anyway, oh yeah, there's bags or buckets. And if you go down there, you can tell nobody's been picking them up because there's little to nothing in the garbage can. So I don't know. Personally, I kind of think that the park is too big. I think it needs to be shrunk back because the worst of it is on the other end of the park. Once you get down that hill and stuff, and I can understand, you probably, especially if you got a smaller dog, you probably can't even see them. So, and then a lot of people may not be capable of walking clear down to the other end of that dog park to do that. So I don't know. I'm open to a lot of suggestions, but I just think it's something we need to look at in the future. And I'm pretty sure Robert doesn't want the job of picking up dog poop either. So, yes. Robot?
Robots. You can get them that their battery, they charge themselves, and I need one.
Yeah.
Right?
And we probably we got to hire 3 people to operate it,
They
right?
exist.
But anyway, it's just something that we need to, if anybody's got any bright ideas, I'm sure. And then the other day I went down and looked at the sidewalk project, and that is a definite improvement. I was kind of amazed. The only thing that kind of amazed me a little bit is a lot of those places had driveway cuts before, so now they're back in there again. So some of those sidewalks are going like this, but it's still better than walking in the mud. And I think it looks nice, and it dressed the neighborhood up and made it a little bit more consistent with the rest of the town. So kudos to whoever put that together. And the last thing I have is I tried to get with Chad from YDOT today about getting the fence removed on the east of Curtis that's along 2026, so that make our maintenance a little bit easier. But he was in Shirley Basin today, so I will, when I get back into town, I'll get with him and see if we can get that done before they get busy. But I think the other side looks really, really nice, the part that they did already. And so that's all I have.
Any other council updates?
The only update I would say that I have is last week was able to go down and see Public Works and visit Open Skies and kind of just go around and see what they do. And it was very nice to meet each and every one of the people that keeps our town operating and moving, and to be able to see the implement that they use. It was very nice. The guys are all very nice, and I would thankful for them and all that they do. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. As well as I would like to, I didn't get a chance to do it, but I would like to thank you for having you guys mend the pothole that we had on Curtis here to Main Street. Thank you very much. Will you please let your people know that I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other council updates?
I have nothing tonight.
Public comments. Are there any public comments? Public comments? Okay. Public comments are closed.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourning at 7:42 p.m.
I've got things for everybody to sign.
Okay.
Yeah.